All right, for this extra help, make sure you have your original assessment paper out in front of you so you can be looking at it and find out if you made any mistakes on that question. If you got a question wrong, you can give yourself feedback about why. So the first 4 questions on this assessment were graphs, and I printed them out so that you guys could see how I am doing the rise over the run. To find the slope on a graph, that is the best way, is rise over run. So I'm going to look on this graph and I'm going to find some corners. Of course, with all of this being digital, you just kind of had to look on it and see, but this is what we're doing. We are finding corners. I see one there and there and there. You only need 2 of them. And you could either do these small ones and show yourself down 4 over 1, down 4 over 1. Or you could do even some larger ones. If you went all the way from here, you'd see it goes down 8 over 2. So you either write down 4 over 1 or you write down 8 over 2 on your piece of paper. And either way, you should see that those simplify down to -4. Okay, that's question number 1, find the slope. Question number 2 is also find the slope from a graph. So I'm going to find my corners. I see one there, I see one there, I see one there. And again, I can either use these smaller triangles that go up 2 over 5. If you use the smaller triangles, the benefit there is that you get the simplified slope right away. But of course, you can go up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Up 4 over 10. Either way, you should simplify it here or already have it simplified. Either way, the slope is 2/5. All right, question number 3. Question number 3 is finding the slope from a graph. Here it is, question number 3. So this slope is simply a vertical line. Can you see that there? On the screen it was red, so it's a little easier to see, or blue, some other color. That means in this we should just type the word undefined. If you didn't spell it correctly, then Canvas marked it wrong. That's an extra bonus because spelling in math is just as important as spelling everywhere. But that's an undefined slope, vertical, undefined. Question number 4, one more, find the slope from the graph. I'm going to follow this along. There's a corner, there's a corner, there's a corner. So I can either go down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2 with the smaller triangles, or of course I could get a bigger triangle that goes down 6 over 4. But pick the simplified one. Always type in the simplified one. Whether you do the bigger triangles or the little triangles, you should be typing in the simplified slope. All right, questions 1 through 4, we're finding slope from a graph. If you still have questions on any of those, ask your math teacher. Let's look at a table. Questions 5 and 6, we're finding the slope from a table. We are going to draw, and on your paper, you would have copied the table, draw for yourself. This goes up 1, up 1. This is going up 1 consistently the whole time. Well, this goes up 3. So remember, in a table, the best way to do this is to do change in y over change in x. And the number 1 mistake students make is the wrong order. Put change in y on the top over change in x because this is really showing you the rise. This is just another way to show those triangles. Even though I don't have a graph, I don't have a picture, this is still showing me the size of the triangles, up 1 over 3. All right, question number 6 is another find the slope with the tables. Looks like that's 7, looks like this right here, question 6. I'm gonna find my change in y. This is going down 4, while this goes up 2. Again, this, what we found over here, is change in y. This is change in x, and the slope is change in y over change in x. But of course, that is not what we're going to type into Canvas because that is not simplified. That is equivalent to -2. You could have also typed in -2/1 and it counts as correct. I keyed in both of them, so they count as correct because they are the same thing. All right, questions 7 and 8 required the slope formula. Slope formula says y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So check out your work, because it seems pretty likely to me that you probably knew that and probably wrote down the formula. If you got this one wrong, it was almost certainly a sign error. That's usually what happens. Or we put the wrong thing on the top or the bottom. I find it helpful to circle my y's, because I know the rise comes from the y's. I know my slope formula is y2 minus y1. And then you can, of course, label these x1, y1 and x2, y2. Do both if you need to, but find a way that helps you remember that these are the values that go on top. And then watch your signs. Watch this. -12 minus -8. I said the words minus negative and I wrote a plus as I said it, because minusing a negative is adding a positive. Subtracting a negative is actually adding a positive. So that turned into a plus. The x's go on the denominator. Make sure you go in the same order. Do you see how I have -12 and 3 as the second ordered pair, and I have -12 and 3 leading in my numerator and denominator? So this one is -3 minus 5, which is -4 over -8. And again, of course, that is not what I'm going to type in this box, because -4 minus -8, there is a much simpler way to write that. That is +1/2. If you have a negative in the numerator and the denominator, that means you went down and you went to the left, which means you actually have a positive slope. All right, last one, question number 8. We're going to use the slope formula again. I'm going to circle the y's, and I'm going to tell myself, okay, so I'm doing -6 minus -6. Ooh, tricky. Over 4 minus -7. That's 0 over 11. When it's 0 over something, the something doesn't even matter. The slope is just 0. And I think I've made it so you could type the number 0, or you could also type the word 0, not with parentheses though. So I hope you gave yourself some feedback. Ask your math teacher if you still have some questions, and then you can try the extra practice and the